How's it going, everyone? PRM Collectibles here with another idol video, and so today we have NMB48. So let's get started. And so here I have NMB48's 30-second single, Seishun no Dead Line, and I have the regular editions type A, B, and C. And so I did get this a part of an online sign event, so I got a member's autograph, and I also review every single song from the single at the end, so you want to make sure to watch the whole thing. And now the similarities and differences between the types. For the CD, all of them are going to have 3 tracks. The first 2 tracks are going to be shared for all types, which is going to be Seishun no Dead Line and Miraizu. Now the exclusive track for type A is Yanen, for type B, Kamigata Strong Style, and for type C, Oneness. And the DVD will be unique to each type. So for type A, it is NMB48 no Nanba Sho Gekijo, which is a comedy show. They do perform Two Strike in the beginning, so that's like the only song performance part. The rest of it is a comedy show. For type B, it is We Asked the Graduates about NMB48's 15th anniversary. So all of, not all of them, but current members are in a studio, and the graduated members just show up in video. It's not like they actually physically show up. For type C, it is NMB48 Unreleased Live Selection 2023 to 2025. So we have a few tracks from different concert performances. And so this is called the regular edition. However, there's no limited edition. The only other variant is like the theater edition. But anyways, the good news and the cherry on top is that all the regular editions do contain a photo card. All right, let's go ahead and take a closer look. And in the front cover of type A, we have the entire senbatsu with some trees and then a backdrop behind them. And in the back, it's the same, but no backdrop. Let's open up type A. Let's take a look inside. And for the booklet, it's really nothing special. It's just going to be the lyrics and credits with one extra picture in the back. And the photo card we get for type A is Ike Honoka. And in the front cover of type B, it is half of the senbatsu with a cool view of the ocean and the town they're in. And in the back, it's them looking down from above that ledge. Let's open up type B. Let's take a look inside. And again, the booklet is just going to have one extra photo. And the photo card for type B is Aobara Yuka. And in type C, we have the other half of the senbatsu. And for some reason, Kurumi sticks out because she's facing dead forward instead of the other members kind of angled a bit. And in the back, they're in front of a window, and you could see a little bit of that view. Let's open up type C. Let's take a look inside. Let's take a look at the booklet. And the photo card for type C is Izumi Ayano. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I did get this a part of an online sign event. And this is actually my very first NMB48 online sign event. So this is the first time I get an autograph from a member. And so the autograph I got is from Mikamo Kurumi. And as you can see, the photo was taken in the same place as the back cover of type C. And in the left there, it says my name in katakana. On the right is her autograph. And so I really didn't follow NMB48 too much. I kind of was more of an AKB48 fan. And of course, back then we had some members crossing over. Of course, we had like Shiro Mamiru and then Yamamoto Sayaka as well. So before I kind of knew of NMB48, I did get like a couple albums from them in the past. Ibiza Girl was the newest one that was on that second one, I think, or something like that. So just to show, I don't know how many albums they've had now. But anyways, I didn't really follow this group too much outside of knowing some members that participated in AKB48 singles at this time. So pretty much in 2025's Tokyo Idol Festival, I was checking out some of the performances because I personally like seeing the performances done in that festival. And so I checked out NMB48's and I very much enjoyed it. And that got me interested in the group again. So I started getting more interested in sister groups. As you see, I had some SK48 ones now. So this is my first time getting into NMB48 again. So I saw their performance and I really much enjoyed it. And I very much liked this single song itself, so it was no brainer to participate. So the reason I chose Kurumi was because she actually caught my attention in that performance, which unfortunately it got taken down. I don't know why NMB48's especially, it always gets taken down, I'm assuming because of copyright or something like that. But anyways, I much enjoyed her performance, and I also, for her personality wise, very fun, and so pretty much that was the member I decided to choose. And also, the reaction from the online sign event, letting her know that I was from America, it was very cool as well. So pretty much I instantly became a fan of her. And I was surprised to see that she's actually relatively new to the group too. And now for the song review portion, so we're of course going to start with Seishun no Deadline, centered by Shotsuki Keito. And so I very much like the start of this because it has a solo for her. It's the chorus itself, it's just her and the pianos for the very beginning of the chorus, which I very much liked her voice. And then, of course, afterwards, the rest of the members join in, and the rest of the accompaniment as well, which is like guitar, drums, bass, and strings. The first verse had nice soft instrumentation with mostly acoustic guitar, so that was like setting up the chord progressions very nicely. And then we're skipping here a little bit because once it gets to the second verse, it's a little different. It's still the same thing, except it's more bass heavy. So there's more bass going on it instead of like how the other one was just acoustic guitar with a soft intro. This one is more bass heavy and it's giving more of a build-up sound. So it makes the second verse sound a bit more upbeat compared to the previous one. And now what took me by surprise here is after the like pre-chorus, for example, of the second time, instead of playing just another chorus like the same thing one more time, it played a variation on it. So it was a nice surprise. It went to an instrumental chorus instead. So it kind of was a nice surprise. I very much enjoy it when instead of expecting the same chorus one other time, because that's just what usually happens, it's very nice having a surprise that throws a bit of a curveball on you. So I very much enjoyed that. The bridge itself was very cool, powerful sounding, and it had a good solo part from Keito as well. And so the end is another variation of the chorus, and this one they're singing a bunch of laws, which I was actually cool with. I know in SK48, for example, like I mentioned, that they had a lot of woes in some of the beginning of the songs. Now this I don't mind so much, especially since it's towards the end of the song itself. But anyways, very much enjoyed Seishun no Deadline. And the next song is Miraizu, and so this one's also centered by Shotsuki Keito. And the funny thing is, I just talked about laws and the woes from SK48 just right before this, so now this song of course starts with Too Many Woes, so I very much didn't enjoy that. However, the music itself is good though. So the song like that's happening in the intro is really good. Again, I just don't really like the woes. I feel like it kind of takes away from it a little bit, and I'll kind of explain more into detail afterwards, because there's going to be a part that kind of explains a bit of why I'm not a fan of woes. But anyways, so again, I didn't like that, but the music itself was very good. This song had a great rhythm section throughout. So the drum beat itself and the bass, I very much thought that was the highlight of the song. So it sounded very cool. The piano nicely sets up the chords for the verse. So that one I just enjoyed the piano being responsible for setting up the harmonies there. The pre-chorus has a nice halftime feel, then builds up to the chorus, and this is kind of like a J-pop thing, so it's kind of like the halftime is where it's kind of like more suspense and then the build-up happens, so I always like that kind of technique being used. So the vocal phrases in the pre-chorus, I like the suspensions in it. So what a suspension is, it's kind of like where it's a chord tone and it goes higher than the normal chord tone, so it kind of creates a bit of what do I call it? It creates a bit of dissonance and then it resolves. So I kind of very much like that in the vocals. So then the piano had a cool soft solo. So the piano solo wasn't anything crazy, it was more subtle, but it was very nice sounding. And so the ending is like the beginning, but without the woes. So this is kind of what I mean. So I personally feel that if you take away the woes, it makes such a good intro sound. So the ending of this is exactly what I wanted from the beginning, because like it sounded very good. Because like the woe parts are still in the instruments itself, like the notes, but just without the words. So in my opinion, if you're gonna have woes, I much rather would prefer it being at the end, because especially at the end of the song, I could understand that can get the audience to like sing along towards the end. So in my opinion, if you're gonna have them, put them in the end and not in the beginning. I felt like in the beginning it kind of took things away a little bit. But anyways, regardless of that, this was a very good song. And now we have the most unique song of the single itself, the one that's going to stand out the most, which is Yanin. So this one's also centered by Shotsuki, so it seems like basically half of the single is just going to be her centering, which no issues with that. It's just I'm not used to seeing that all the time. Anytime I do reviews, it's always like maybe the first two can be the same person or something like that, but then the rest are different centers. But anyways, she's centering this one as well. So now this one is very unique because it's basically an industrial rock song. So this one here, it starts with a very high-pitched synth part. The vocals join in with spoken vocals, so it kind of gives it this dramatic type of sound. Now, then there's a simple guitar part, which is just putting like, I guess it's kind of playing the bass notes, but they're panning it. So what panning means is where you could hear on the left side or on the right side, or, you know, you can kind of adjust where you can hear it from. So when the guitars came in, it would start on the left, and then afterwards it would go to the right, and it would alternate a few times. So it had a bit of some cool production things there. And so once that happened, then the intensity starts with heavy synths and some cool rhythm guitar, distorted rhythm guitar to be specific. And so the way it worked was pretty much when the vocals are happening, the background is a bit more quieter. And then once the vocals isn't happening, then the intensity will pick up. It had some cool dynamic contrast throughout the song. And so the ending towards the end, it's still similar. However, it kind of has more of a pop sound. So it has a bit more fun pop sound towards the end. So this one, I could see that it's probably gonna conflict some people a little bit, because this isn't your typical idol song. However, I very much love it. I love it when they throw some like different type of genres in there. So this one was very cool. So I very much enjoyed this song. And now we have Kamigata Strong Style. So this is actually the first one that's not centered by Shotsuki. So it's centered by Hagare. So this one starts off with Japanese traditional style music. And so you hear the instruments, and that's just for the intro, because once it gets into the verse, it sounds more like a standard J-pop song. So the bass is very heavy for this one, not in a bad way, but it's the sound that is higher for the instruments. It's joined by guitar and then also the traditional instrument supporting. So in the beginning, you hear them more as that style, but once it gets past that, since I mentioned it sounds more like J-pop, it's still there, but it's more of a supporting role at that point. So the chorus for this one is very simple, but it is catchy. And then there is a guitar solo that sounded cool, and it ended in a dual guitar harmony as well. And so pretty much that's all I have for this one. This one was a more simple song, and this one I will say is like my least favorite of this whole single. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just more of a simple song, but it's still very fun and catchy. And now for the last song, we have Oneness, which is centered by Aobara Yuka. And so this one overall is a very beautiful ballad. I very much enjoyed it. So it starts off with solo vocals with piano accompaniment, then the members join in, and then the rest of the accompaniment joins in as well. So once that happens, it's such a big sound, there's a lot more color, and it just sounds beautiful overall. So I very much like the vocals and the instrumentation as well. It all sounded very nice. So the instrumentation, the highlight for me was the bass and strings, and the bass is technically a part of the strings, but I wanted to single it out because I feel like it was very responsible for some of the sound there, so I very much liked it. And then it ends with the same vocals as the intro. So this one is a very good song. It's a very nice sounding ballad. And so overall, I very much enjoyed the single. I think every single song in the single is good. So this is one that I could listen to beginning to end without skipping anything. So I very much recommend listening to the music. So now for which type I recommend, I mainly will recommend Type C. And the reason for that is because Type C has concert footage. It's only 5 tracks, but it's from 2023 to 2025. So it has a few different songs and then also like different venues as well. So it's pretty cool having some concert footage. It's one of my personal favorite things to get from DVDs or Blu-rays for single releases. Now, Type A and B, I only recommend those if you're okay with something being primarily just speaking. Because if you don't understand the language, then it's probably going to be kind of boring or pointless, you know, because for Type A, again, it's a comedy show. And then Type B, it's just talking about the 15th anniversary. So just be aware of that. So for Type C, that's the one that I can recommend to everybody. For Type A and B, it just depends whether you understand the language or you're fine with not understanding it and just watching it. And so that's it for NMB48 Seishun no Deadline. And so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Follow me at PRMastodon on Twitter and Instagram. I do have a live streaming gaming channel on both Twitch and YouTube, PRMastodon. So if you ever want to come hang out and chat, I'll be live there. And so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cuteness.